Welcome to Winego TV. I'm Crystal, and I have a very special guest today from Burgundy. Nathalie Tollot from Domaine Tollot Beau in Beaune area. Hello, Nathalie.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm very pleased to be for the first time in Korea.
Wow, first time in Korea. Wow. And are you here for introducing your new vintage and old vintages?
Yes, and also to visit Mr. Chorey from Winego, who imports our wines in Korea.
All right. And we are gonna taste the two wines.
Good.
Okay. I like to learn about your winery while tasting two different wines. All right. Which one should we go first?
I think we should go first with the Corton 16 and then the older wine.
Corton 16?
This one.
Okay.
Go from the youngest to the oldest.
Oh, so this is 2013 and this is 16.
Yeah, this is 2010.
Oh, 2010.
2010,
right.
which was a great vintage.
Is it? Oh, yeah, 10. Yeah. Domaine Tollot Beau Corton 2010.
No, 2016.
2016.
This one.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
May
The bottle is heavy.
Yes. May I pour it for you?
Sure, thank you.
You're welcome. So this is Corton Grand Cru.
Corton Grand Cru.
2016, coming from the famous hill of Corton. And Grand Cru is the top of the scale in the Burgundian classification.
Yeah. And do you own your own vineyard
Yes,
in
so
Corton?
we are wine growers, all my family. So we don't buy grapes or wine. We produce we sell what we produce. So this is all our parcels.
All right.
So à votre santé.
À votre santé. Beautiful color.
So 16 was a very nice vintage in terms of quality because it has got a nice structure and a nice freshness. But we suffered a lot from frost. We had -1 on the 27th of April, and it was a disaster.
Really?
We lost the small buds have been killed by frost, and we lost 75% of the crop.
75% of the crop?
Oui, which is fortunately unusual, and it's a shame because it's a very nice vintage.
But then the production amount is very low.
Very small,
Oh,
very small.
okay.
So it's a very rare bottle.
Rare bottle.
So what do you think?
Yeah, it's very fresh. And
Yes, we try to express the fruit and the terroir. Terroir is a French word to speak about the vine, the plot, the location, the exposition, the altitude, and that gives a specificity to each wine.
Okay.
So this parcel is about 3 kilometers far away from this one, but it will be very different styles because of different terroir.
And do you use a whole cluster or you distant?
We distant everything at the Domaine. Since my great-grandfather, he has been using the distilling machine since the 50s, since it exists.
Okay, yeah. Let's taste it.
Yes. Those glasses are really good, and the wine is very expressive.
Yes.
Very open, even if it's a young wine. It seems to be sweet, but there's no sugar, of course. But it's the ripeness of the vintage which gives a roundness.
Yeah, it's a very round and very finesse, elegance.
Normally, the wines which are coming from Corton are quite powerful ones, which is the case. They could be quite tannic, but with that right vintage, the tannins are
Soft.
round ones.
Yeah.
And the length is very
Very long. Do you use new oak too?
Yes,
Anyways?
those two wines have been stored in barrels, 228 liters oak barrels, for 16 months.
16 months. And all new oak or
There's
half
half new,
half new?
and the rest is 1 year old or 2 years old barrels. And the oak is French.
Okay.
Coming from the center of France, because the origin of the oak is very important too. As it's a very young wine, for the moment, it's mainly a fruity wine, like strawberries,
Yes.
and also we can taste the influence of the oak.
Yes, I can tell.
So it reminds us of vanilla.
Vanilla.
But it's very expressive, so I'm very pleased because these wines arrived last year in Korea, and they didn't suffer from traveling or being stored. They have been very well kept.
Okay.
There's no evolution. And we've got spices too.
Yes.
Something like pepper, a little bit.
And I can taste the very, very subtle tannin, very fine tannin.
Yes, that's what we are looking for. We need ripe grapes, but not overripe ones, to keep the freshness and to get ripe tannins.
Right.
Because wine with harsh tannins is awful. We are looking for clean, perfect wines in the nose and well-balanced style.
Right.
So for that, we need to work a lot in the vineyards. So I work with my two cousins.
Are you in the vineyard too, or in the cellar?
In the cellars,
yes.
with our customers. But we all studied winemaking.
Oh, okay.
And but we need to share the work.
Okay.
Because it's quite a big domain for Burgundy. We own 25 hectares, so we have to share all the work we have to do.
Right. It's a family business, right?
Yes. We are the fifth generation.
Fifth generation. When did you start? I mean, your great-great-grandfather.
Yes, it was in 1880.
1880.
When we suffered from all Europe suffered from phylloxera period, and everything needed to be replanted. So that's what my great-great-grandfather did. It was called François Tollot, and it's his son Alexandre who decided to increase the size of the domain, decided to bottle himself, not to sell anymore in whole to negotiants, but decided to bottle in 1921.
Yes.
And that was a very unusual decision at this period between the two world wars. The economy was very bad, so he wanted to be more independent.
Okay.
And our fathers, my father, his two brothers and his sister, they have been working all together. So this domain has never been splitted. That's why we own quite a large area for Burgundian domain.
I see. Right. Let's move on the next one.
But it's nice to wait a little bit because more and more aromas are coming.
I know. It's getting more and more.
Yes.
So beautiful. Yeah, usually Corton is quite powerful, but
Yes.
this one is very, very soft and elegant and fresh and power as well.
Thank you. The grape variety is Pinot Noir, and with nice summers we get thicker skins, and we appreciate to give more structure to the wine.
Oh, I see. All right.
And some vintages are more powerful than others. It all depends on the weather conditions, which could be very different in Burgundy from one season, 1 year to another year.
So do you pray all the time to the God? Next.
Next is coming from the town of Beaune.
Yeah, Beaune Clos du Roi,
Yes.
2010.
Yes. And Beaune Clos du Roi is a premier cru. So it's coming from a very gravel soil.
Gravel soil.
I forgot to speak about the Corton soil. It's clay and limestone stones. This one is more gravel. So the gravel it doesn't keep the water. So in a dry vintage, it could easily be too dry. So we have to be careful not to have too big yields to get ripe grapes, because it could suffer easily from dryness.
But if it's a gravel and it's a limestone,
Yes.
how does it affect to the wine tasting?
The gravel will reflect the heat on the grapes, so the ripening process will go on better.
Fast.
Faster. So the style of this appellation is each year to be quite ripe, rounder than other ones, and with a little bit lower acidity. So it makes it more approachable when it's young than a Grand Cru from Corton.
I see.
And 2010 is a vintage I like very much because there was a normal weather, not too extreme, not too warm, not too humid, cool at certain periods in the summer, so we could keep a nice acidity, a nice freshness. And picking period was without humidity, so we could avoid having rot, which is one of our enemies.
It's quite different
Yes.
from the nose.
Yeah, there's more complexity.
Yeah.
Because it's an older vintage.
And yeah, it's a good timing to taste the 2010.
Yes, that's right. We start to have, aromas like as if you were walking in a forest a little bit. Humid aromas.
Yeah, humid aromas.
But the fruit is still there because the wine is still very young.
Yeah.
We've got plenty of time. We can taste it again in 5 years.
Yeah.
Or 10 years. So this appellation is called Beaune Clos du Roi.
Yes.
Roi is a king. And Clos means surrounded by walls. There's many walls in Burgundy because it's a very stony area. And if we want to plant a parcel, we need to dig out those big stones, and we make walls which are protecting the parcels. So there's lots of Clos in Burgundy, and this particular parcel was owned by Louis XI at the end of the Louis XI, the King of France, around the 16th century.
I see.
Voilà. And
So it means King's Wall? Is it right?
The parcel of the king.
Parcel of the king. Okay.
Voilà.
Yeah.
And it's of course a very nice parcel.
Yeah. It has a lot more complexity showing.
Yes, it's very nice to wait with Burgundies. 5 years is nothing, so it's good to wait because we get more complexity, more softness, and it will give more expression to the wine.
Okay, then usually when we like to enjoy Grand Cru, like Corton or any other Grand Cru, how long should we wait to feel the full of aromas?
I think the minimum is the vintage plus 5 years.
Plus 5.
Yes, and that's a minimum.
If it's a good vintage,
yes,
you should wait more, right?
Well, it depends because a good vintage is well balanced, so you can have it young or older. But if it's a more unbalanced vintage with more tannins, for example, you need to wait more to get roundness.
Okay.
So good vintages, normally you can have them young or older, and but it's always much better to wait, right? Especially wines with such a structure, with such a body. And it's important to match it with not too strong food to get all the elegant aromas. And the temperature is important. 15, 16 degrees is great.
Okay.
Because if it's too warm, it will the freshness, the aromas will go away, and you won't smell them. And if it's too cold, then the wine will be shy and
don't open up.
Won't be expressive.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And we usually don't know about the winemaking process. And when I saw the movie Back to Burgundy, have you seen that? The movie describes very in detail about the making wine.
The movie from Cédric Clapiche.
I think so. Yeah. And
yes,
since
it's a very nice one.
Since you're making wine, what is your philosophy about your wine, about your job?
Well, we are lucky to make a great job. We give pleasure to people, so we try to do our best, and we try to get not diluted wines and well-balanced wines and precise ones. So it's lots of work outside in the vineyards. The main thing is not making the wine, but producing the grape. And Pinot Noir is a very sensitive grape variety because of its thin skin. So it could be very sensitive to insects or to mold or so we have to take a lot care of avoid having too strong sunshine, keep the leaves, or we mustn't keep too much leaves to avoid having humidity. So we always adapt to the vintage.
I see.
It's hard work.
It's a hard work. But do you enjoy it?
Of course we do. Well, we choose this job, so we love it. We never get bored of it because every year is different, and we are lucky to share a glass of wine with people from all around the world, and we always learn.
All right. Wow. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're
to
welcome.
Taste your wine.
I'm very pleased to come and share my experiences with Korean people.
And I think most of people will love your wine in Korea.
Thank you, thank you.
And hope you to enjoy your stay in Korea. And
I'm sure I will.
Discover the Korean culture and hope you like it.
Thank you very much.
All right, santé.
À votre santé.
À votre santé.
Santé.